Good morning. Welcome to Elisa Marie Designs. Today is Sunday, self-care Sunday, but it is also Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, stepdads, godfathers, uncles, grandfathers, mentors. Thank you for being that figure that we need, that you provide with your strength and your guidance and your wisdom. And for those of us where today's a little tender, like for me and for John, um, we will be visiting our dads where they are resting in eternal peace. May they rest in eternal peace forever. And Johnny and I, we know that we carry their memory forward every time we speak of the memories and traditions and the stories that they left with us. So I'm thinking of you today also. And today is Self-Care Sunday, and I wanted to get back to night's rest. And then I thought, no, the mermaid's out. Let me just do her. And then I thought, no. My dad loved his coffee and cake, and I got my coffee, no cake. And I should have waited until this morning. I did buy, and it was really a memory buy, because my dad loved anything with apple turnover, an apple pie. I had all the things in my head yesterday that he would eat, and I was going through the supermarket and I saw like Entenmann's cakes, and I really don't buy Entenmann cakes, but I was like, oh, let me just get like little mini ones, like the little crumb cake. Yeah, this is what I tell myself, just a little baby one, just a little baby snack. And I saw, as soon as I saw the little apple pies, I was like, okay, Joe, you win. I'll get the apple pies. And especially because it was Father's Day weekend. So last night, when I was just like, do I really, the apple pies were calling me, you know. And my dad's picture is sitting right across from me while I'm trying to catch the last episode of 6 seasons of The Handmaiden. I just couldn't get through it. Um, I said, all right, I'm going to have an apple pie with my dad sitting here. But I had my coffee this morning, and I thought, no, I'm gonna diamond paint Cafe Terrace while I talk to you guys about Self-Care Sunday. So let's get the book. Oh, I put it away. And we'll see what's going on for today, June 15th. What is the message that has landed on this day? Because I think Father's Day changes every year. I don't think it's like a set day. So let's see what fell on this day. Am I right? Is today the 15th? I gotta check that. And I will be right back with my book, and the diamond painting is already out. Okay, got the book. Today is June 15th. Let's see here. Okay, everything is going bonkers. I was wondering like what part of this canvas I was going to do, because I have missing drills in this one too. I don't know what's going on. I don't have missing drills. I ran out of drills on this one, and it's a beautiful canvas. It is Cafe Terrace at night. Let me turn it around so you can see it. Let me just lift it up off the desk. It's a gorgeous painting. But the blue I ran out of, and I thought, well, I thought I was running out of it, and then I was like, well, it looks like I'm going to be able to make it. Let me see. Yeah. Those little clips are holding up my plastic because it needs to be covered still. So there's a lot of number 8, a lot of the blue in here. They're not all 8, but yeah, this was a nice part of the canvas that I could be diamond painting because it's not a lot of confetti. But, you know, I guess I'm just going to start down here again with the cobblestones. I don't want to because I find it to be very distracting with a lot of changing of the color. Let me see if I have these colors in here, maybe I will go this way. D and N and A. I believe I have all those. It's just number 8. Let me turn this around while I got you guys here. And you see in the canvas. The mermaid is still out because John and I have to do the commentary for Jaws. And when he got up and he was like, oh, I'm tired, I can't do a commentary right now, I continued to diamond paint, and I did another an update with you guys. So I think maybe I will do the green because it's a little bit more color blocking here, and that's just going to be too confusing for me when I'm reading. So hold on. yeah, here we go. And I have to cut that piece of plastic. I can let you go. Turn you up. Yeah, there's no, oh, this actually came off. Yeah, there's some of the number 8s in here that are missing. Oh, it's just so depressing. I mean, what number is that? Oh, I don't know. I have it covered. I have to go look at my book. I actually have the bottle out. It's on my cabinet for me to look. I just put my drills together, but I didn't look to see if I had this DMC code. I'm trying, guys. You know, I'm really trying to not open up any new canvases. To just be like, behave, get done what you have. Like my sister from another mister tells me, you're going to feel so good when it's done. Hello, Gabrielle. Happy Father's Day, Chris. Gabby's hubby. Okay. Let me see here. June 15th. What is the message? Oh, staying porous. Oh, be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart and try to love the questions themselves. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. So I'm going to tell you what I do in the morning when I open up my eyes. The first thing that I do is I say, hello, Jesus. What kind of coffee are we having today? Come and sit with me while I make it. I do. I do. That's what I say. And I talk to him like I would a friend. I talk to him the way I talk to you guys. I do. And this morning I was saying, it's Father's Day. Give me the right words to say today to all the dads out there. And especially for those of us that are, you know, my girlfriends. Oh gosh, they miss their dads. Like me, like me, you know, we miss our fathers. And I was thinking about the fact that, you know, Jesus was just a man, and we, you know, from what I know of the Bible, he never fell in love. He never had children of his own. But I was saying, you had a dad named Joseph, and I had a dad named Joseph. So these are the things that are going through my groggy mind when I wake up in the morning. And your dad's, you had a heavenly, of course, your heavenly father in heaven, but you had an earth father, and his name was Joseph. And I had an earth father who's now in heaven, and his name was Joseph. It's like, like I'm making these like connections, like I don't know this already. But I don't know, it was comforting to me to know that. And then as I was thinking all these good things about me and Jesus both having a Joseph in our lives, both having really good men in our lives that watched, and, you know, the role of the dad, you know, the mom's nurture, and the role that I believe, I shouldn't say the role of the dad like it's an absolute, but, you know, the role of the dad in my mind is that the moms are there to nurture and take care of. We're the caregivers, but the dads are there to make sure that the child is ready for adulthood and get them ready with, you know, this quiet strength and wisdom that they have to be able to go into the world and be good people, good daughters, good sons. And they're the strength. You know, the coddling and the nurturing are always, it's kind of over. But your mom is always going to be the caretaker. Your mom has the role of, like, she's the one that's there when you're hurt, or to take care of the heart, the tender heart that we all have. And then your dad is the one that gives you that. And believe me, I was having a lot of flashbacks with my dad this morning at times that I thought that he was really mean towards me. He was really like, hey, you're an adult woman, and, you know, get your together and make a decision here, you know, in so many words. But, you know, it's a shame that I understood my dad more when he passed than when he was here. So this is a conversation I was having with Jesus this morning. And while I was having this beautiful memory of me and Jesus, we have dads in common, you know? Both had Josephs. I had this intrusion, every time I think I'm over it, I'm not. You know, it keeps coming back. You know, I don't want to keep it alive in my mind because there's nothing I can do about it. But, you know, I said to Jesus, what do I do with this? Because I can't take, you got to help me. You know, I've given you the wheel, and I know I need to be patient, and I know I need to have faith. But a hurt is a hurt, you know, and some hurts run really deep. Especially when you don't understand why you're being hurt by another individual. So, here it is, June 15th. Here's the sign. Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart and try to love the questions themselves. And that was written by, let me not murder this woman's name. Is it a woman? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Renee, Maria. Now, I'm not totally convinced that that's a woman, because Alphonse Mucha was Alphonse Maria Mucha. Renee, Maria Rilke. I feel like I should know this person, but I don't. But I will know them by the end of the day because I will look them up. So, you know, I don't look at these things. I'm the fly by the seat diamond painter, and everything else in her life is just fly by her seat. I do things. I want to experience these readings with you, and I want to get the message that I'm supposed to get here with you. Very pretty green. I love all shades of green. So, I am jogging in the city on a hot summer day, and my legs are in a rhythm, carrying me without much guidance through small crowds, past roses and bus stops. He's home. Daddy's home, Foofy. Hold on, baby. So Johnny may come up and join us for Father's Day. He's just back from visiting his dad. I was in a grog. He was like, I want you to get up. I have to go to the cemetery. And when I got up, he was gone. So, you know, I got up and I was calling you. I was like, I'm up. I'm going to jump in the shower. I'm talking to no one. I'm talking to you.
Well,
I'm going to turn. You want to be on camera or no?
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Well, I know.
I'm surprised because
I feel so bad that you
I jumped in bed with you. I was
like, oh, you smell like soap.
Kissing you. That's right. You do remember that. But I said to you.
You were like, yeah, I took a long bath.
I said, listen, I'm going to go to the cemetery, which my dad is buried in Pennsylvania, and Elisa's dad is buried in New Jersey. So we got to go opposite directions, and we usually do both same day, whatever. So I said, I'm going to go run to the cemetery to see my father. And then this way, when I get back, when you're ready, we can go to Jersey to go see Joe, your dad. And I thought you heard me, though. I don't know.
Yeah, but I didn't hear you leave the house. I was like, oh, let me get up. I got up. I'm like, Johnny. And I'm like, if he's up here, Foofy, he's probably in the back room. And he just shut the door on you.
No, where's that fat cat at?
He's outside. But
outside?
He's outside the room.
Oh.
So I was like, oh, my God, let me go get washed and dressed. And I just did myself, like, you know, a little post for Father's Day and a little, you know, something. And, you know, I every morning I get up, I talk to Jesus. Every morning. That's what I do. He don't even know.
Jesus.
Don't try me.
Foofy. Try Jesus.
And I said,
don't try me. Because I throw hands.
We love that song.
Try Jesus.
So, yeah, I was telling my...
Don't try me.
All right, are we done with the gospel?
Because I fight.
I'm fighting.
So anyway...
Oh, go ahead.
No.
Was I interrupting you?
Yeah. So anyway, I went to go see my dad. And, you know, it's so funny because I got there and there's 3 different arrangements or markers on my mother's side of the stone. I think they're all ours except for one. That one plastic thing is not ours, right?
Yeah, no.
Right, but the other 2 are ours.
Yeah.
So I'm there, you know, I'm talking to my dad and whatever, and so I'm looking. Thank God, probably the Knights of Columbus or the
they
VFW.
fixed it?
Somebody came, put a brand new flag.
Well, you did
in
go to
his-
the office, right?
No, I didn't do anything. They go to all of the grave sites and they see, the grave markers. Like I have a grave marker that says 1941 to 1945, World War II. So,
Yeah.
that identifies my dad as a World War II veteran. And so these Knights of Columbus or VFW people, they just go around, and if it's a veteran of any of our wars, they put flags there. And the one my father had was worn out and needed to be replaced, and I intended to get one, and I didn't. But so I was very happy when I got there to see they had already replaced
Oh,
that.
that's nice.
But so I'm looking at the lopsided balance of mom's side and dad's side, and I was thinking about something made me laugh that my mother always used to say, and my mother was a pistol, and she was funny.
What message did you get from Rita?
Rita always used to say, fathers don't matter, only the mother matters. And she used to say,
My father used to say that too. He used to say, "Do you ever see at the cemetery all the flowers on Mother's Day? Father's nothing."
Well, and it's so true, because my mother.
There's your mother.
My mother
coming through in a validation.
My mother was right about that, because for whatever reason, I love.
I'm gonna go get my father a big bouquet.
I love my mother and my father both. They did a great job raising me, and I'm proud of the man that I turned out to be. But it's just so funny, like that. When it's your mother, you're like, oh, I gotta go get this arrangement. I gotta get boo, and then it's so funny with my father. I'm like, he don't care for that. He don't care. My father don't care about that stuff. He just going and being there was what's important to him. And I found the whole thing funny. And then, so I decided, I got to go run out and get something to put on his side of the stone. And because I'm retarded, I go onto my phone. I put, flowers, grave markers, whatever, near me. It showed me all South Philly places. I'm like, I'm not in South Philly. I'm in Marple Township, Springfield. So then it's telling me, just press this button, do this, and change the location setting in the Safari thing. I did all that. It's still giving me South Philly. So I try again, looking for someplace near me where I can get something. And I am just so technologically averse and deficient. I just gave up, and instead of going home the way I came,
It's a good thing I stayed
I
home.
started to drive home down Springfield Road, hoping I would see something, grab it, and turn around and go back. It just didn't happen. So, that's that. But
Yeah, but my dad used to say that. Yeah.
oh yeah.
Who would even make that observation in a cemetery? But my dad.
Well, my mother didn't make that observation in a cemetery. She made
my dad did.
She made a general observation. She used to say it all the time, like mothers are important, fathers ain't. Which.
I just got done talking about the importance of fathers.
No, but the thing is, it's funny because it's like my mother kind of sort of like derogating my dad and fathers in general. And, I laugh about it because it's absolutely, there's some truth to it, but at the heart of it, the assertion is wrong and not correct. Fathers are very, very important, and they do a lot.
They keep
to help,
pointing you north.
They do a lot to help shape children, adolescents, and young men. And it's almost funny for me because it's almost like my mother kind of viewed it as a competition, and
Did she really?
Well, I'm psychologizing my own mother, but I'm saying, how else could you explain it? That she basically dismisses all fathers and endorses all mothers, like, oh yeah.
I got to tell you, and like me and Rita got close at the when I went to go live with Johnny and his mom, and we were taking care of her, Johnny gave up work. He went out and he took care of his mom, and I was there with him because really, I mean, even if your mom woke up and went to bed at the same time, it was a lot. And she was easy. She was easy. And your mother said to me something about driving. Somebody parking. She was another one that was always outside the window looking at everybody.
She
on
was
the street.
obsessed with cars, parking spaces, and who parked where, or who did or didn't move their car. And I used to tell her all the time, Mom, you don't even have a car.
She had a license.
What are you worried about what other people are doing with their cars, their property, and everything else?
And she said, don't you drive? I said, no, I gave it up in South Philly because really, honestly, it was for everyone's safety. And Johnny knows the way that I am in a car. I'm like, well, you have a horn. Hit the horn. Blow the horn. Or, I just don't have the patience to drive in South Philly. There's just too much stimulus. I'm too distracted with everything going on.
Plus,
and then you drive with people and they're like on their phone or their radio's going. Like when I get in the car with you, you better shut the phone off and you better turn the radio off.
She's always telling the cat she's going to rip his whiskers off. Yeah.
So your mother was watching somebody outside, and she was like, look at her. She doesn't know. Like, you got to go up to like the rear view mirror, and then you cut the wheel this way. And
oh, yeah, she knew how
I said, Rita, when did you stop driving? She said, oh, I gave it up because my husband thought I was going to cart all these kids around. And she said that. I was like, he's like, are you kidding me? That's why my mother stopped driving. I was like, well, I guess, yeah. She had two, older children, then met your father, and then had two younger children. But the older ones were at a point where they didn't really drive yet, and they still needed to go places.
No. They were grown by the time my mother started driving, the older ones.
So your mother was giving your father something to do.
No, my mother was a beast. My father had a gigantic Cadillac baby blue sedan DeVille, 1968 or 69. And my mother, when she started driving, was driving that gigantic Cadillac. She could parallel park it like nobody's business. So she knew how to drive and she knew how to park. But I remember as a child, my mother's driving career did not last very long. Yeah. Now I understand why.
Yeah, I was the conduit that got you that message. So your mother doesn't. But when we went through all her stuff, she had an active driver's license.
It makes perfect sense, though.
Her driver's license was like.
It makes perfect sense because my mother, for the most of her career, was a stay-at-home mom and raising her kids, but. Sometime in the 70s, early 70s into the 80s, she went out and started.
Well, they had a mom and pop grocery store.
Started doing work as a seamstress, and she worked for some I wouldn't call him a tailor because he used to like
dry cleaner.
No,
what something? She worked for Joe Lodo.
No, Joe. His name was O'Mara Industries, but they used to sew. Mummers costumes for people that had all these big things. It wasn't like she was, the lady at the corner.
Well, my grandmother worked for Stetson hats.
So anyway,
they were all tailors.
She did, work for a while, but her driving career was very, very short. I remember my mother going to get her driver's license. I remember the fella who took her for the driving test was my father's friend by the name of Willie Dice, they called him. And he's the same guy who took me for my driving test when I was 16 years old. And so I remember Willie Dice took my mother and all, but she drove well, she parked well, but that driving career did not last long, and it makes perfect sense. And I'll tell you why. My father had a grocery store attached to our home. And so, he's working in the store, and then he would have to go pick up groceries and go to a wholesale house and pick stuff up and all. And so my mother, I guess when she started driving, realized right away that, oh, no. You think I'm going to run these kids around while you sit in the store and drink? Because my father was a drinker. And so, he'd be in the store and every, he might... Johnny, watch the store for me. And he'd go right 2 doors away to the Society di Cosenza. It was a private Italian club, but it was 2 doors away from my father's store. He'd go in, have a couple belts, and come right back. And he always had a bottle of scotch
He was the best.
under the cabinet next to the stove in the kitchen, and so he, that was a drinker, and
You wouldn't know it, though.
I think that
You wouldn't know it.
I think that it made sense though that my mother saw the handwriting on the wall and said, "Oh, you think you're gonna drink while I drive these kids around because you don't want to drive because you drink? Nah, I'm not doing that."
Put them right in the car. Anyway, so I was, telling my listeners this morning that I got up and I was talking to Jesus, and I tell him the same thing every morning. Hi, Jesus. What kind of coffee are we having for today? Come downstairs with me while I make it. And I was talking, thinking about, give me the right words to say today because, the people that guide us into this world, mothers and fathers, sometimes the relationships are, and I was thinking
sometimes
about
they all are. Every single one is complicated and difficult and everything else. I mean,
so I was thinking about the complicated times that I had with Joe, with my dad.
Sure.
And, and then now in hindsight, thinking, he was giving me the kick in the ass that I needed.
I've heard this, and I truly believe it. I think that we all tend to, later in life, want to recreate the relationship we had with the parent that we're at odds with. And
well, that's Harville Hendrix.
Hmm?
That's Harville Hendrix. That's the psychology of Harville Hendrix.
Okay, I don't know him, but I'm saying I
you
think
pick a mate so that you can work out whatever difficulty you have with whatever parent.
Yes, I'm agreeing with that.
And you're just like my dad.
But I was just going to say I'm like her father and she's like my mother, so
See,
we both did the same thing.
I was looking for pictures of my dad this morning. Do you know which one I found? I was like, why is Johnny not here? He would have loved it. My father was.
The only difference is
scream.
She's the only woman I ever married, and she was married once before, so I don't know what that was about. Whether she was trying to, what she was working out with that one.
Oh, please! I found out that I married my mother, not my father.
Oh, well, there you go. She married the wrong one.
I was going through pictures of my dad, and you know which one I found? I was like, why is Johnny not here? Because you would have loved it. It's actually up on my community post.
What is it?
My dad dressed as the Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, God, I would love that.
He has this...
the half
mask on. My father was theatrics, if anything, but all through life he was theatrics. When you talk to him and whatever. So Johnny,
yeah,
while I was talking to Jesus and I was talking to him about, we both had dads named Joseph. They're both in heaven now. He's connections with Jesus. So this intruding thought came into my brain. And I was like, why can't I let this shit go? Why? What do I have to do? Like, what medium is going to come through this brain that says, that's it, now it's done?
What are you talking about?
You know the problems that I have. I don't want to say it publicly.
No, but you're saying, why can't I let this shit go? What shit are you referring to?
I'm talking about relationships with other people.
Oh.
So I was thinking, having this
you don't
beautiful...
have any relationships with other people.
Well, I was having this really great relationship with Jesus in the morning, saying, you had a dad named Joe, and I had a dad named Joe, not up yet. The coffee wasn't in my brain. I had this thought, and I was like, why can I not let this shit go? Why does it keep haunting me? We talked about it today, during the week. But I said, okay, I'm getting ready to open up my book of awakening. Are you with me?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm watching the fat guy.
Okay. And, let's see what the message is today. Do you know what the message was?
What?
I want to know if you
Let
know
it
this
go.
verse. Well, it was, be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart and try to love the questions themselves.
I like that.
Do you know this person because you read a lot?
I know what person.
How do you say that? Because I think I butchered the name.
I cannot see.
Oh my God, whatever. There's
Wait a
glasses
minute.
up there. You need glasses.
I really can't see anymore. I'm blind. I'm gonna, in a couple more years, I'm reading German Shepherd.
Here's some magnifying glasses.
Let me see this.
Ranier?
Maria Rilke? No, I don't know her.
Oh, okay.
She never shopped in my father's store. So, what are we going to do here, Bob?
I'm talking about this reading. Rita took over Father's Day.
Ancora.
She kicked all the dads right to the curb.
My mother used to say, Ancora, Ancora.
Yeah, so
what are you doing? Let's go. Wrap it up.
You said, no. So you said you liked that. You like that question, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just getting into the reading. Do you want to stay?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I don't. So let me just say this. I'm trying to find out what is going to happen in our immediate future.
So if
Hold
you
on.
give me...
I'll spat. Because here are all the things I need to get accomplished today. I got to go and start rehearsing my show that I have to play next Friday. And I'm going to probably do that right now.
No, you're not doing that right now because I'm doing something right now and I don't need to hear you in the background with music.
Okay, but listen. Here's the story. We have to go to Jersey to go see your father.
We're going to go see my father in 20 minutes.
Okay, all right. And so then we're going to come home. I'm going to have to get the rehearsal in then.
That's great.
But then aren't we going to go out with Josh or something?
Yes, we are.
All right. So that's a lot of stuff to get done today.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
It is for me.
I'm going to go to Jersey. We're going to come right back. You're going to practice.
Come to Jersey. Come right back. That's going to be an hour and a half at least.
No, it's not. I'm going to go see my dad and come back.
All right. You're not going to stop at your mother's?
My mother's at church, and she's got plans with John.
Okay.
So,
fair enough.
So it's 10:30. Give me 11 o'clock.
Yeah. See Foofy?
No, stop talking. Go away.
He's on the ground right now.
Go away.
He's all nice and peaceful.
I don't care.
His ears are back because he knows I'm talking about him. Now I'm going to touch his back foot.
Go away.
He's going to go nuts. He don't like having his back feet touched.
Don't start the cat up and leave here. John, you'll be wearing him as a hat at the door.
See, it's always violence with this fun. She's gonna throat
John?
punch me. She's gonna rip the cat's whiskers off. That's all she does.
Listen,
She has a lot of anger. She has to go to anger management.
You're making me sweat.
Go ahead.
Go downstairs and feed the cat.
Foofy.
I gave him dry food, but I don't know. I don't know what to give this cat anymore. This crazy vet put him on wet food. I can't stand it. I can't. He doesn't eat it.
You want your wet food, Foofy?
And then I got to clean this mess up.
Foofy. Look at you.
You're wasting time, John.
All right, I'm leaving.
Every minute counts.
Foofy, come on, let's go, Daddy. Don't stay in here. She's gonna rip your whiskers off if you stay in here. Come on, come with your father.
Say goodbye, John.
Oh, goodbye, John. Foofy is so fat. It's a sin. I love him though. He's a fat guy, right, Foof? Look, you're such a good boy, Daddy. But listen, I gotta tell you. Let me tell you, members here.
When he tells me,
this cat,
are you ready yet?
See this cat?
I'm going to remind. I'm
See
going to play
cat?
the film.
Let me tell you
I
what
got
he's
the
doing.
receipts.
The back room is my music space, and I have all of the.
I'll have this done. I'll done paint this
all the
paint
walls
by the
and
time he's
ceilings are acoustically treated with that egg carton foam, like gray stuff. And so, Foofy has now decided there's this one spot by the door that he likes to scratch on it, and then when he pulls out a big hunk of this acoustic foam stuff, then he eats it. So
Oh my God! Really?
I'm gonna. Oh yeah. No,
What? What is wrong with this cat?
He eats everything.
I had to throw him down.
You sure?
I had to get on top of him. I literally had to pry his mouth open. He had a piece of this plastic.
Are you sure he's not a shark? Because he eats everything
I
like
ripped
a
the
shark.
I'm like, you would have died.
I caught him.
Washi tape and all.
I caught him on my bureau, okay, with Elisa has this earthquake putty to hold things down so I don't knock them over because I have dyspraxia. And I'm very clumsy. And so
it's got clumsy child syndrome.
I caught this cat eating the earthquake putty. And I had to rip it out of his mouth because he's a lunatic.
So let me.
He eats everything. He's a shark.
Okay, so when you ask me if I'm ready to go.
Yeah, listen, I'm leaving.
I'm going to show
you asked me to say
receipt.
goodbye. I said goodbye.
Well, I didn't know it was going to be an Italian goodbye.
Well, listen. I'll give you this.
Get out,
Give
Bobby.
me this for the tape.
Bobby. Get
Come
some
on.
Bobby De Niro
Come on, monkey.
faces.
Come on, monkey.
John.
Come with your father.
Say goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thanks for the memories. Come on, monkey.
Shut my door, please.
Oh. Foofy, come on. Come out of there before your mother hits you. Come on. Come out here.
I'm going to hit the cat.
Foofy, come on.
All right,
Come
leave
on,
him
Mommy, why
alone.
don't you
He
shut the
wants
door?
to be with me. Leave him alone. He
Why
doesn't
would
like
you choose
because
her
he likes this
over
energy
me?
of self-care Sunday.
Why would
It's
you
not
choose?
a choice. Shut
Why
the
would
door.
you choose her over me?
Goodbye. You're wondering why? It's a crazy man. Where were we? 35-minute interruption. Where were we? Oh my God. All right, let's get back to the painting. You see how much I got done? Staying porous. Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart and try to love the questions themselves. So I got some thinking to do, you guys. You know, if I was not running out the door, but I'll be thinking about it all day. I'll be thinking about the question that I asked, not the emotion. You notice the word is think. Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart and try to love the questions. Love the questions. So it is an emotion. I was thinking, think about the question. So it is an emotion. Love the question. And you know what I have to say? Too, I was just telling you guys earlier that I was trying to watch the end of the last episode of The Handmaiden, 6 seasons, okay? So, and this is all tying in. I'm not going off script. I read that book in high school. We were required to read that book in the 9th grade. And the first page of that book scared the living daylights out of me. I was telling this to Gabrielle last night. She was checking in on me to make sure, like, how you doing and did you rest? So, and I was telling her what I was doing, and she's like, "Oh, I never read the book." I was like, "Oh, I had to read it in high school." And even my husband, for the reader that he is, he's like, "Really? They gave you that to read in high school?" They really did. And so the first page scared me to death. And I kind of wondered when they wanted to continue this story, how it was going to play out, you know, because I don't enjoy when things are revamped, like they're like, oh, let's redo this again, you know, like Snow White was a great example. um, but they did continue the story, and they kept to the vein of what was going on, right? They're really the last 2 episodes really were nothing that was wrapped up nicely. But I will say, and it shook me, that for the horror that June, our main character, our heroine, went through, the horror, the atrocities that she went through and is still going through, because I don't think that there's going to be another season. There are things that still need to be wrapped up. I think they said they're going to do a movie, which I just wish that they would just, you know, do some kind of an event. Anyway, the message was wrapped up in love. I'm not going to give anything away, but the final message was wrapped up in love, and everything that you, because if you're watching, there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of hatred, there's a lot of collective thinking. You know, like there's not really a lot of individuality other than June. She's that balance of being a very critical individual person that is using her own mind, and the message at the end was love. So that's coming through me here. So I am jogging in the city on a hot summer day, and my legs are in a rhythm, carrying me without much guidance through small crowds, past roses and bus stops. Those are the times that, if you know, you can resonate with that you just love, you know, you're like leaving the world behind and everything is moving in a rhythm, and you have this movement and energy in your body, and you're just going, and you kind of feel like you're flying, you know, when you hit that rhythm, and freedom, moving, you know, you get clarity, and you start thinking very clearly, and things. That's why it's so important to do the walking meditation, which is part of the tools that I use in the artist way. And it's been, you know, I was crediting, I don't know what video, you know, my mood and my state of mind with this rain, which we have again today, it's just like, it is so, I mean, I have a shirt on that I was wearing in the winter, that, you know, you put underneath your clothes. So, you know, if it's too cold, it's really, that's how impossible the weather has been. And so I love those moments when you're out and you're walking and you're just like in a rhythm, and you're just moving. You're moving forward. It's like everything else is standing still, and you're the only thing that's object that's moving. I begin to think about my struggle not to give myself away. I begin to think about my struggle not to give myself away. Oh, that's interesting. When growing up, I had to check myself at the door like a coat in order to relate to others. Now, this is one that Johnny really should have sat in on. Often I had to pretend to be less than I was in order to be loved. Now, this is something that I've heard from my husband time and time again. Like almost the same exact words. Of the I really don't even want to use his words. Let me see if I can get him back in here. He doesn't know I asked him to come back. So I'm going to read
I don't
it.
know. She asked me to come back. Of course I know.
Why?
Because she just told me, come back.
I said, you don't know why I asked you to come back.
Oh, why? No, I don't know why.
Okay, so I'm going to read this, and if you don't want to say anything, I'll just edit it out. But if you do, then, because this struck me very strongly that this is something that I heard from you. And
I always have something to say, so go on.
If you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to. I'll edit it out.
No, it's fine.
Okay, so I'm going to read this from the beginning again.
Go ahead.
Be patient toward all that is unsolved in your heart and try to love the questions themselves. I am jogging in the city on a hot summer day, and my legs are in a rhythm, carrying me without much guidance through small crowds, past roses and bus stops. I begin to think about my struggle not to give myself away. When growing up, I had to check myself at the door like a coat in order to relate to others. Often I had to pretend to be less than I was in order to be loved. That's as far as I got.
Well, that's something that obviously I think resonates very hard with me. I mean, as you were reading the words, I was trying to, you know, assign meaning to them and try to understand where this was going.
Yeah, me too. When he said, I give myself away.
Yeah, that's the part I was trying to figure out, well, what does that mean? But then as soon as he said the part about in order to be accepted or heard or whatever, I had to, well, let's just use the word dim my light, if you don't mind.
That's a good one.
So I had to dim my light in order to relate to people or be accepted, and that's something that it's been a lifelong issue for me. I was quite precocious as a child. I was very, very intelligent. I was reading at an early age, and along with the reading, of course, came comprehension and understanding. And so I think that I was aware of higher level concepts much sooner than my peers were. And couple that with my parents' permissive style of child rearing, where, you know, I was allowed to stay out with the adults while the adults talked about adult things and told adult jokes. You know, again, I wouldn't trade my childhood for anything. I think I had a great childhood. I loved it. But, you know, like anybody else, I had issues and stuff. And you know, like, again, I was very, and still am, I was very...
inquisitive.
Not just inquisitive, that's not where I was going to go, Elisa.
But you question everything.
That's not what I was going to say. I was very fearless.
Yeah, you were.
And I was very, be careful here, but I'll say it anyway, reckless. And I'm talking about physically not emotionally, not psychologically. I didn't think there was anything that could hurt me.
I had that feeling too as a kid. I wasn't reckless, but I knew that I would never be in danger. That there was just something internally that I was protected.
I think, my opinion about this is, I think that what you're describing is an innate sense of self-worth where you felt confidence in yourself to know, well, I'm not going to get hurt because I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to put myself in a position to be hurt. But however, I probably thought that way. But during my childhood, I was run over by an adult bicyclist, which broke my leg in about second grade. I had multiple injuries to my head, concussions, fractured skull, hairline fractures. I,
So, being that we're talking about
I
fathers,
got hit by a car. Okay, I ran out between two parked cars, got hit by a motorist, flew up in the air about 10 feet, hit the hood of the car, rolled off the
we
car,
were both hit by cars.
and got up and said, I'm good, I don't need anything. Never even went to the hospital, nothing.
I didn't go to the hospital either. But being that we're talking about dads, how did your dad handle this energy of this little boy that? Because your mom and dad were the definition of yin and yang, but
Absolutely.
your father was yang. Father was yin, the feminine energy.
That makes sense.
Internal.
That makes sense.
Calm. Your mother was yang, extrovert.
But that's exactly the point. You ask how my father dealt with all this explosive energy of his young son. Now, don't forget, he had raised two other children who were the children of another man who had passed away before my father married my mother. And then he had my older brother Mario and me that he was raising. And so, but I think my father was a very sort of, and it's hard to explain this, but I think my father was a very calming, and everything is going to be okay.
Yeah.
Source.
You get your father's energy even through a photograph.
But I'm saying, whereas my mother literally wanted to strangle me on a daily basis and kept telling me, stop screaming, stop talking, get outside, ba beep, ba bop, ba boop. My father was the exact opposite. He was very, my energy didn't bother him at all. He was very placid and calm, and he understood that he's a little boy, and little boys are rambunctious. Yeah. My mother used to call me a wild Indian. He's a wild Indian, this kid. And I was, to some extent. Just to give you an idea of how carefree and adventurous and reckless I was physically. My home consisted of the kitchen, the living room, and then after the living room there was a door. And you opened that door and you went down 2 steps and you stepped into the store. So the store was pretty large and took up a lot of the space of that whole distance I'm speaking about. But as a kid, I would open that door to the store and there was these 2 steps you had to walk down to get to the store. And I had a little tricycle that I would just start from the kitchen and just go flying through the kitchen, through the living room, and just vault myself into the store over the 2 steps. Like it was like I thought I was friggin' Evel Knievel. And I'm talking at a very young age.
I will tell you one thing. We had use of our imagination. We weren't entertained.
Oh God, no, entertained. No. Listen, my mother and my father both were not in the business of entertaining their kids. Now that's
it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children
that's
are?
That's not completely true, because I do remember my mother did read to me when I was a young boy. Oh yeah, my mother read to me. But again, I quickly outgrew whatever the hell it was she was reading to me, and I start reading on my own, and Fun with Dick and Jane wasn't doing it for me, and Green Eggs and Ham didn't do it for me. But
So let's see where the rest of this is going. For years, I would shelve my light to take care of others. Like a fireman, I dropped whatever I was doing to rush to the rescue. Now that I can identify with. I don't know that you can, but that's where I disappeared and dimmed my own light.
I always considered myself a caring
and
person.
He actually used the word light, dim my light. I shelved my light, is what he said.
I always considered myself a caring, loving person.
Yeah.
But I do not, in hindsight, look back on my life and see me falling into that trap where I literally dropped everything for everyone.
I did.
I did. I know you did. I'm sure you did.
I was the dutiful one. I was the one that everybody could rely on. Elisa will be there. Elisa will do it. Call Elisa. That was the fireman.
It's interesting.
That's who I am, the fireman.
It's interesting that you use the word dutiful.
I was dutiful.
And so,
because my father instilled that in me.
Right, but I'm saying duty is sort of a neighbor of obedience.
Yes, and my father expected obedience.
And right,
and you know, he'll say to me, "You don't know this person? They grew up around the corner from you." I'm just like, I wasn't allowed out. I really was. I was not doing anything that other kids in my neighborhood were doing. I don't recognize anyone because I don't remember that.
I was about as far from obedient as one could possibly be. I did not listen to my mother or father. I had a mind of my own, and I just, again...
you said it, you were fearless. I was afraid. I would never, ever, any decision that I made always had my parents front and center. Like, what would my father say if I did this? What would my
I probably told this story before, but it reminds me of a time in I would say 1976, bicentennial year. I was 12 years old. And I was in 6th grade in Catholic grade school, and at that age, I decided for myself that I'm going to get my ear pierced. Now, in '76, only 2 types of people got their ear pierced: homosexuals and tough guys. Guess which one I thought I was at the age of 12? So, at any rate, this is a good example of how strong-willed I was, and how, my mother was the disciplinarian in the family, but my father really was, I think, the very important key component of our family structure. But so, I think that my mother must have got wind of my decision to go get my ear pierced, and there was a place on East Pashank Avenue called Dominique's. And Dominique's had the gun, if you guys remember that. The gun was a little gun that they would put to your ear, and it would shoot.
Oh, a gun.
It would shoot.
Yeah, it appears
it would shoot. What
else are you talking about?
A post. Not a post. Whatever you call it, like a stud. Like a little gold stud. It would shoot it right into your ear, and then you'd put what's that called? The back. The post? Whatever.
The post.
Doesn't matter. So at any rate, somehow or other, probably my brother ratted me out. Must have went and said to my parents or my mother, "Hey, I think Johnny's going to go get his ear pierced." And so my mother immediately must have went to my dad and said, "You better go talk to that kid. Don't let him go get his ear pierced." Because, if it were up to her, she would have just beat the shit out of me, so I didn't go get my ear pierced. So I'll never forget, I walked out of the house, walked down the turnsteps, and I started walking in the direction of Pashank Avenue. My father came out the door, and in his most, authoritative voice said, "Johnny!" And I turned around.
Oh, I can't even imagine your father yelling like that.
I turned around. "Yeah?" He goes, "Where you going?" And I didn't back up even an inch without hesitation. I said, "I'm going to get my ear pierced." And my father must have been so stunned that I didn't back up or lie or anything. I just said, I told the truth. And he goes, this is all he had. He had nothing but blanks in his gun. There was nothing he could do or say. So he goes, I will come right back. I want to see it or something like that. That's what he told me.
He was allowing you to be who you were.
But I'm saying
and experience the world.
His wife didn't want me to be who I was, and he really, I don't know. I guess he figured it doesn't matter what I say. It reminds me of the Razor's Edge with Uncle Elliot and the mother Louisa when he tells his sister, you should forbid her to go see Larry tonight, and Louisa's sister, daughter, if I forbid you from going to see Larry, would that stop you? Not at all.
No.
And so, I think that was it. My dad knew that
he's going to do it anyway.
I was going to do it anyway. So I might as well sanction it, give it my blessing, because otherwise I'm going to look like a fool. Because I'm going to tell you don't do it, and you're going to do it anyway.
Okay.
12 years old.
For so long, the choice seemed only to stay open and lose myself, or to close up and cut off others.
Well, that's interesting, too, because I
don't think either one of us
would
cut off people.
No, what was that?
For so long, the choice seemed only to stay open and lose myself, which was the choice that I made.
Right.
Or to close up and cut others off. And, like, the people that saw me, who I was at my core, I'll never forget Denise saying it. Elisa, you walk into a room, and not everyone is a friend, or not everyone is going to see you or accept you or appreciate you. You have to learn how to close off a little bit and be a little bit more discriminating.
I would say that
which I never did. I was like, this is me, and
I'm very sociable and friendly. However, that was cultivated by me. I forced myself to be that person, because deep down,
both did. Deep
down inside,
really
I was very shy.
I was very shy.
But here's the other thing. I think if I look back on my life, I would say my idea of closing off was to get a book and read, because then I didn't have to interact with other people.
Close myself off in my room. I
could read the book, and the characters in the book, which I came to know and love and understand, I never had to dim my light for them. I never had to.
And probably recognize yourself in a lot of the characters.
Oh well, that goes without saying. I think that true love is the recognition of your own values in another human being.
Yeah.
I think that's what true love is. That if you value, say, for instance, justice, honesty, integrity, laughter, and fun, and you see those qualities in another human being, I think you look at the other person and your own values are reflected back at you, and that's love. So I think that
so he states, but today, while running freely through the streets, close to others but not entangled, I realize I am learning after many attempts that I can stay close and porous, caring and present, without holding everyone's anxiety and without going underground. At least I can try.
So my way of dealing with the issue the author is speaking about was, and still is, humor. So, people who would try to dim my light or break my balls or insult me, I always just went back with humor. And, I was capable of self-deprecation as a form of humor, but I was also sharp-tongued enough to, give it right back to the person who was trying to dim my light or insult me. I could...
and there's a lot of that.
But I'm saying, so the humor, it may have been sharpened on evil people and people who want to dim your own light, but it didn't stay there. See, that's why it was created psychologically. Mm-hmm. You learn to be funny, you learn to be smart and wise, but that's why and how you learned it. But then it just becomes a way of life, and you sort of look at all events, people, and situations through the eye of, oh, that's funny, I think, at least.
Well, I learned how to, and that was like a big, um, a big in part due to you. You
Yeah.
know, when we met, you knew how much I was carrying, and you were just like,
Yeah, you
shrug
gotta
it like Atlas, Elisa. Shrug, get the world
absolutely.
off your shoulders.
You gotta let things go because uh, it's like it's almost like the whole Indian thing about hatred and hatred is a hot stone that you hold against someone else. Your hatred is the hot stone that burns you. It serves no good or real purpose to be filled with hate. And I think that sometimes we're all capable of that. But I think that
Yeah, but it's a poison.
but
You're
it
swallowing
is a poison. But every individual has to learn to come to terms with who they are, what they are, and learn how to shrug off the labels that people will put on
Well,
you.
the labels are a big one.
Listen, I mean, you know.
I mean, we're talking about dads, and that's a label, but but you got to get down to the man.
Labels could be good or bad, and labels could be useful. But so, like, I remember a conversation with this woman who had said that her mother used to say, well, you know, one thing we know about my daughter is that she's really, really good at cleaning and doing the bathroom and all this stuff. So, in a way,
Yeah.
she's just reinforcing what she wants the girl to do.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, I would say that's a good thing. I don't personally like manipulation and things like that, but oh, it's your mother. I'm gonna take this. Hello, Ma.
Happy Father's Day.
Well, thank you. How are you doing?
Oh, okay.
Did you go to church yet, or?
Yeah. Now I'm talking to you from a cell phone.
Right.
I had my phones all taken out, and I got a cell phone to replace the number on a cell phone, and I can't get used to it.
So wait a minute. We got rid of your house phone, the landline?
The landline's gone, and
Okay.
I asked Xfinity to give me a cell phone so I could keep my number.
Oh, okay. So that's a good idea. I like that. So you you actually have a cell phone in the house.
I got to
that's gonna
contact
ring.
Rosa now.
I have my other cell phone.
Well, what I'm saying is, and you definitely don't.
Oh, you guys, we were interrupted by a phone call from my mother, and Johnny went to go take a break. He had to go finish something, but let me tell you, I don't know what the heck is going on with this kit. This is all I have left of this. I ran out of, I'm never going to make what I have left, what I could see on the canvas with this. And I'm not going to make, I don't think I'm going to make it all the way through with this. I'm actually looking to see, are there any more of this symbol on the canvas? So I don't know, like, what the heck is, oh, and let me tell you the best. Okay, so I have 3 so far. And this is in my art dot container. So if I had extra drills, what I do is like I did here for the mermaid. When I have extra drills, I kick them up. You know, they're not, you know, because I can't go looking for packages. So I had extra bottles here. I would have kitted them up. So it's not that these are missing. They're somewhere in my house. I don't have them. It's very disturbing. It's like every canvas that I'm doing, there's drills missing. And like, I didn't think I was going to throw my drills away from leftover canvases. I've been trying to get like, oh, just throw them out. Now I'm afraid to, because I have to order now 3 different drills. Oh, and I didn't show you. I went to go do this part that's left. Here's A. There's nothing. There's 3 drills in there. What the heck is going on? How could this be that I didn't get enough drills for this canvas all the way around, and I didn't fill them up in here? I would have never just left them like, oh, I'm gonna just put these on the side, and I'll, when I need to I don't do that, because it's so easy for me to take this off and put it on a new container. So this whole section, which is A, is missing. So I'm just waiting for Johnny to come back, and we're gonna wrap up this video. And then this here, it's a few of the, this is probably 5,200. Like, I know I have a ton of 5,200 AB drills for this, but why is there not enough in here? I don't understand. And like this is going to be like another one where I go back and look at the unboxing, because I know I unboxed this in front of all of you, and say, what was I doing? Did I put these drills on the side? But I'm gonna go back to the unboxing, and I'm gonna look and see how many packages of each one of these drills. And if it's me, I'm gonna be like, well, what the heck were you thinking? That you wouldn't put these drills on the side? But my drill, everything is in order now in this room. So if it's not in this room and they're not downstairs, I don't know where they could be. So that is done. Just waiting on Johnny. Yeah, this is 5,200 AB. I'm glad I put my drills together. I'm glad I put everything in order. DMC code, round, square. So if I don't have these, I'm going to be on the phone with Rosa with these 4. Oh, and number 8. Number 8 is gone. Oh, number 8 is on my desk over here. That's what's left for 8. Okay, I just did a double check to make sure that it wasn't me, and it's not me. These drills are missing. So let's just wrap this up. I got to get to my dad's. Okay, I am dripping and breathing like a small horse. It is clouding over. It begins to rain slightly. I move through the beautiful people and ask for a hot dog with mustard and sauerkraut. As I chew this simple food, rain from the sky meets rain from my body, and in the rain, sweating, the tang of sauerkraut on my lip. We just ate hot dogs the other day. I feel joy. Others shuffle by. Today there is no room for worthlessness. So, you're very enlightened, because you said that what I see here is like it's about feeling worthy.
Yeah. I mean, again, I think that probably one of the most important aspects of being a man, a human, is you must have a sense of efficacy, meaning that you must feel competent to pursue and achieve your values. But more importantly, you must feel worthy of achieving your values. So it's both of those issues of, it's basically what it means is you're fit to live in this world, that you can, again, production and producing value or values is probably the single most important thing. And so, this is not, 5,000-6,000 years ago, where you have to grow your vegetables or kill an animal to survive and eat. You can work in any field of endeavor, and you can earn money, and then you can go buy vegetables, you can go buy meat and fish, and but there's so much more to modern life than just survival. Again, I think, speaking for myself, and I know I speak for Elisa as well, our lives wouldn't feel complete if we couldn't create, if we weren't able to
Oh, absolutely.
make something out of nothing. Again, the act of creation is I have a background in math and science and physics, so from that point of view, nothing is actually ever created, because all matter that ever existed already does exist. But so when we talk about creating, what we really mean is rearranging things in a way they've never been done before, and that involved that of course would encompass writing a novel, a poem, a song. This whole videotape where we speak and discuss and we exchange ideas, and we hope to expose to all of you guys our own ideas, and we'd love to hear your ideas. Because I think that I know today is Father's Day, but
we did a little mentoring.
But I think that
absolutely.
I think that the most important fundamental thing about America is we're the only nation that was founded on ideas and not geography or ethnicity. We literally have every ethnicity from all over the world, but the only thing that joins us all is, as a constitutional republic founded on individual rights. What joins us all together is it's an idea. It's a set of values, Western values, so to speak, and I think that's a fitting end to this discussion. But I'll leave the last word to Elisa.
Well, it was, Mark Nepo always leaves us with like food for thought, but I think that you wrapped it up nicely, because he was, talking about, to try and just remember a time when you lost yourself in somebody else's problems, and can you do that and still be able to keep your self-worth and, be able to help, but at a very distance. And so, this was a Father's Day reading. I think you did a good job of stepping up and, giving us that male energy and mentoring. There's a lot of messages in this reading, I think, for those of us that are, don't have that guidance and wisdom and quiet strength that the dads bring.
I also think that obviously your father, whether it was your biological father or stepfather.
That's how I started. Mentor, grandfather,
yeah,
uncle.
Again, these are all very important people in our lives. But don't forget, you can also have father-like figures in your life. And I've had quite a few, role models and sort of father figures. There was a fellow I worked with named John Ingram, and MAB Paints. He was like a father figure to me, and on some level, even though we were pretty much peers, my buddy Elliot, my musical partner, I kind of, he was significantly older than me, and I kind of viewed him in a certain way, a certain context, as a father type figure. So I think that the concept of fathers and fatherhood can actually be carried over, and it doesn't. I don't think that the whole essence of father, mentor, guider has to be biologic in nature.
So enjoy your Sunday, enjoy your Father's Day, and we will see you, as always, in the next one. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.